Email list you can send out to your friends, or if you have a Facebook list of friends. We'd like to get 3 million by the time the Democratic Convention comes to Denver in August. We already have over 60,000 Democrats who've signed up to join Democrats for more energy and lower prices. And so we want to be able to actually invite Democrats to take the 3 million petitions to the Democratic Convention. And then, like Republicans like me, will take the petitions to the Republican Convention. And then I think we're going to talk with talk radio hosts to see if they'd like to come in September and bring all of their listeners. And we'll invite all the 3 or 4 million people by then, if they like to come in. And we'll make 1 week energy legislation week and demand that the House and Senate pass something in September. And I think that this is actually beginning to change the whole tone and the center of gravity of politics, away from the left's emphasis on regulation and taxation and bureaucracy and litigation, towards an emphasis on incentives and markets and entrepreneurs. In our surveys, by 74 to 20, people believe that entrepreneurs can do a better job of solving environmental problems than bureaucrats. Well, by the way, we had one Democrat day before yesterday who proposed that the government take over the oil refineries.
Oh.
Now, if you look at what the job the government did with Katrina, and you look at the job the government's done with the border, and you look at the job the census just did in failing totally to figure out how to use computers, I mean, you have to wonder what planet this guy lives on, because it's not Earth. And I think it really is that bad. The gap between the people over here who are out of touch with reality, which is why my book, Real Change, was called Moving from the World That Fails to the World That Works. Because so many pieces of the bureaucracy just don't work anymore. They're just broken down. Anyway, that's a sweeping overview, and I thought we could take questions.
Okay. Questions?
Mr. Speaker, there was a oil refinery that the voters voted on in South Dakota, and it was approved by the voters after a historic vote and debates and everything else, and now the left is trying to stop this thing from being built by going to the courts.
Right.
They don't seem to have much respect for our democratic processes if they're willing to ignore the vote of the people, a democratic process, and run to the courts. How do we fight that?
You fight it straight up by telling the truth and getting the American people to choose. There's an ideology on the left that would like everyone to walk. You know, I mean, if you look at what they're saying and how they're behaving, they would close down every oil well. They would lock up all the oil shale in the United States. We have 3 times as much oil in oil shale as the Saudis have in reserves. 3 times as much as Saudi Arabia. And it currently is under a congressional restriction on looking for it. So I think you have to start with the idea, the left is going to do everything it can to keep gasoline prices high. They believe in high prices. They tell you that if you read their material. They would like it to be $8 or $9 or $10 a gallon. They would like Americans to have to drive very tiny cars or motorcycles. I did a telephone